Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkis, and this is Titans, Season 2, Episode 10, Fallen. Welcome, everybody. Before I get started here, I'm going to take care of some business. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. If you already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. You can also see my schedule up on suspendedfanimation.com. I've got that up there, and I change it out every week. And I also mirror that over on my Facebook page as well. Speaking of Facebook, there's a Facebook group chat page where you guys can post stuff and talk amongst yourselves on there. I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page, but I don't have any tiers set up as of yet. That will change at the end of this year, the beginning of next year kind of thing. So there we go. That's all that business stuff out of the way. So let's get started, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the brand new paddle. That's right, the brand new paddle. So, we ended off last episode with Dick beating the shit out of some guards in the airport and getting himself arrested. So we start off with Dick getting his pictures taken at the police station, pleading guilty to assault on a federal officer and being taken to prison with a sentence of 7 years with no probation. I found it fascinating how fast the legal system worked because from what it looked like, he got booked, tried, and sentenced within, I believe, a couple of hours is what it looked like, because people were still calling him during this episode like he had just left the day before, which just kind of really surprised me at how fast he got booked, sentenced, and sent out to prison. And so now he has become Jailhouse Dick, as DC Universe wants to call it. I guess Penn told me that DC Universe had sent out an email letting us know that the new episode of Titans had dropped, and they had named it Jailhouse Dick. And I want that to be an action or an inaction figure, actually, is Jailhouse Dick. And yes, you can actually, that is the title, actually, of the porn version of this episode as well. But yeah, that's something else altogether. So we see Mercy and her wife, I guess, and their kids driving across the Golden Gate Bridge. And she's lamenting that the kids and everybody else basically on their phones, and why don't they play a nice board game and all that kind of stuff. And Walter gives her a call and tells her that 13 has popped back up and he's in the city. And she's like, all right, game night's canceled. Kids are going home. I'm I'm going to go and hunt down a Superboy. That's what she's going to do. She did have a pretty funny joke about monogamy in there too, but that's the reason why she was in all that, was, avoiding monogamy, which or what was it? Because that was the reason why she was in that relationship and suffering through monogamy. Which I thought was kind of funny. You have to watch it. It was a good joke. It was very quick and dry British wit. So we see Connor and Crypto walking the streets, back alleys again. He sees the newspaper that shows him he's a wanted man, and he tells Crypto he should go before they find him. And because Crypto didn't do anything except kill somebody. I think he injured one of the police officers, if I remember correctly. But hey, Crypto didn't do anything. Take off and get out of here. And he basically yells at that Crypto, and Crypto doesn't want to leave at first, and then he takes off and runs down the street. So Jailhouse Dick refuses his phone call. I guess you get a phone call a day kind of thing. He's standing there, and the guard looks him up and sees that he was a detective at one point. Really, that name sounds about right. Jailhouse Dick? Is that what you're talking about, Sven? Yeah. So he looks up Jailhouse Dick and sees that he was a detective at one point, and he decides to move him over out of Gen Pop, to his own little cell further away, and Dick doesn't want it. And so he's like, all right, fine, come on back. I'll bring you back to Gen Pop. And he throws him in a cell with these three guys. And he goes, all right, see you later, detective. And he walks away. So Dick goes and just lays down on the top bunk there as these guys are playing dominoes. And yeah, they're not bothering him. He's not bothering them at this point. So Gar ends up looking at the news again about Connor's rampage through San Francisco and hurting the cops. And he tries calling Dick again with no answer again, because Dick has been tried. He has been arrested, booked, tried, and sentenced, and already in prison. Yes, in that amount of time. Considering that the news is actually still going on about Connor, it obviously happened the day before. And yeah, so anyway. So he leaves another message on Dick's phone, and he gets another doorbell or an alert that there's an intruder at the front door. Worst doorbell ever for the whoever set up the security system. Oh, that's right. It was fake Bruce Wayne. It was Ian Glenn's Bruce Wayne that set this one up. So Gar turns on the little monitor. He doesn't see anybody outside. And then Crypto starts jumping up in front of the monitor, which if Crypto can fly, why doesn't he just float in front of the monitor? Because he rang the doorbell supposedly with his nose. So that is the doorbell. Gar actually says later on that was the doorbell that says an intruder alert is outside. I do want that doorbell, Pen, because that is pretty much the only thing I get on my front door is intruders. And that would just make a lot more sense, quite honestly. So Donna ends up calling Dick again because and leaves a message for him saying that Rachel took off and that she's looking for her. She's still in San Francisco looking for her. They haven't left for Chicago, and she could really use his help because she doesn't know where the hell Rachel is. Rachel, in the meantime, is over at a soup kitchen enjoying it looked like a pretty damn good piece of chicken and some herbed potatoes and all that kind of stuff. And she's ignoring Donna's phone calls, of course, and notices another girl sitting about her age, sitting across at a table, and goes and sits down and then makes a joke and says, do you think this is organic? She's picking up the vegetables, and then she eats it and says, well, you got to die of something. And the girl smiles at her, and she's making a friend at this point. So prison Dick or jailhouse Dick is out in the yard again. He sees his cellmates basically noting the time of the prison guard, their movements and all that kind of stuff. And they're using the dominoes to indicate stuff and whatnot. And Dick's noticing this. And as he walks by, Santo, the head of the gang, goes, you got a problem? And he goes, no problem. And as Santo is going to get into it more with him, the guard that tried to help him out grabs him and says, no, break this up. And he brings Dick over and he goes, we used to have a lot of MS-13 in here, but now we've got Corto Maltese, is what he says, gangs that run everything. And he says, you know what, I'll move you again. He goes, I'm sorry I dropped you in Gen Pop, but I'll move you again to the, your own cell if you want. And Dick's like, no, I'm okay where I'm at. He goes, I'm not, I don't want to help anybody and not working for you. And it's nothing personal. It's just, I don't want to do it. And the guard's like, all right. And he puts his arm around him. And he goes, but let me tell you, what happens when a cop who's in cahoots with the boss, is in here? And he goes, nothing good. That's what, and he walks away and everyone's staring at him. All the prisoners, all the inmates are staring at Dick now at this point. Because, that's what they do when they're in prison. They stare at Dick. Yeah. So what does Dick do? Dick decides to go and work out. That's what he does. So Dick he happens to see two of his cellmates there, Rafe and Luis, getting the shit kicked out of them. And he's off on the side, and they're getting the shit kicked out of them by Corto Maltese gang members who basically say that their rent is due because they have decided to, they're no longer part of the gang. They wanted out of the gang, so they have to pay rent. And so part of that rent is they need to kill Dick in order to, because he's a cop. So that's the reason why. And they say either you got 12 hours to do it, either you do it or you die. And they're going to die anyway when you go home because you're, not part of the gang anymore, kind of thing. And so they agree to do it. They take the shiv that is offered. So Connor is out in the street when Crypto and Gar come up to him, and he tells Gar to stay away from him. And Gar's like, you know what? What happened with those cops? And Connor really doesn't answer him. He just kind of says, remember I told you who I was? That's what happened. And it's like, what? No, dude. Okay, whatever. Use your words. So, Gar ends up telling Connor about the guy that he killed once as a tiger, and being a Triton isn't about being perfect, and before anything can happen, before they can go any further in this conversation, Crypto starts barking because a cop car pulls up, and of course, all these SWAT guys start pulling out because they see Connor, and so they both run. And I'm thinking at this point, I'm like, so Connor and Crypto both have super speed. Crypto can fly, obviously, and Connor can leap. So why doesn't he just leap out of there or super speed it out of there or something like that? All right. Oh, that's right. Because of the budget. That's what it was. It was the budget. Rachel, in the meantime, was talking to her new friend who, for some reason, brings up this Laborde's chameleon in Madagascar that lay their eggs, and then the adults die before the eggs hatch. And so that way, when the babies come out, they have no parental guidance whatsoever because their families are fucked up, is what they were saying. And Rachel's like, oh, that'd be great to be a lizard kind of thing. And they only live 5 months kind of thing. And yeah, but this guy comes up to her and tells, her new friend that it's time to go. And Rachel tells her, you don't have to go. And her friend goes, no, don't worry about it. I'm going, stay where you are kind of thing. And they're walking out behind the soup kitchen, and he's pissed at her for leaving and says that if she does it again, he's going to kill her. And she goes, well, why wait? And he raises his hand to hit her, and you could tell she's just about to say don't, when Rachel uses her powers and grabs his arm and then picks him up and throws him against the wall, basically lifts him about 12 feet up. And it looks like she's going to kill him. And he pleads for his life. And she sees that her friend's a little bit freaked out, and she lets him go, and he drops to the ground and takes off. Hey, Ejar. And her new friend thinks that she's awesome, of course. And then we see some of Rachel's black goop, the stuff that comes out of her, go flying up above to the roof, and we see a demon. Excuse me there. I just didn't mean to move everything. We see a demon gobble it up and then take off the roof. And then the guy who had taken off there, who had run, the demon finds him around the corner and kills him. Yeah. So I don't know what that's all about, but hopefully it's not leftovers from season 1, that horrible storyline, but it might be. We don't know for sure. So Jailhouse Dick is in his cell, and he basically asks them when the escape is. And that's when Santo goes, if you ratted us out, you're dead, kind of thing. He goes, if I ratted you out, you'd be in solitary right now. And he goes, he basically lays out everything that he saw about the guards, their guns, the ammunition, everything like that. And says, you know what, you guys don't have a hope, a chance in hell of getting out of here. He goes, you're going to be shot down before anything happens. And they tell him, and they go, okay, well, what would you do then? Is what they says. And he goes, I'd kill me, is what he says to them. And then he lays down and goes to sleep. Yeah. Basically daring them at this point. So Dick gets up in the middle of the night to take a piss, and Rafi's got his knife on him there and holds it up against his throat and basically tells him their story, that they had gotten out of the Corto Maltese gang, and now because they defected, once they go home, they're going to be killed. Also, the gang members in prison don't like them either, and they are arrested by immigration, and they're going to be deported, is what's going to happen. That's why they're in prison right now. They're just waiting to be deported at this point. So he says, unless you got some answers, shut the fuck up, is what he tells him. He goes, I don't want to kill you. I'm not a murderer. So Gar ends up bringing Connor back to the tower to get something to eat and tells him that he's going to help him get out of this whole mess. And Connor wants to know where the other Titans are at, of course. And instead of answering him, Gar's like, you know what? I'm going to call Bruce Wayne like I should have done about, 3 episodes ago. And that's when the alarms for Zone 6, the roof, go off. And because the roof is on fire. Yeah. But we don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. And soldiers bust in from the roof. And Mercy tells them to bring in Project 13 alive, but to kill all the others. Everyone else is fair game. And Crypto jumps on one guy and kills it. Well, he knocks him out, knocks him head over heels on that one, quite literally at that point. And then they take him down with a kryptonite net. Connor just starts beating the shit out of soldiers. Gar starts using his martial arts that he learned and starts taking that out as well before Mercy sees him starting to change into the tiger. And she goes, change of plans, move over to tranquilizers, capture everybody. And they take down Gar. And when Connor sees Gar taken down, his eyes light up. And one of the guards is actually one of the soldiers is going to use kryptonite bullets, but he stops him. And then his eyes light up and he's going to take out the rest of the soldiers when Mercy comes in and tells him to stand down and that she's there to help him, that she's working with Eve Watson. And he doesn't trust her, of course, but then she goes, you know what, we can help you. We can fix the imbalance of you. We just learned that you have an imbalance inside of you. And you just need to come with us and just need to come home. So like the dummy he is, he does it. In the meantime, Gar is sitting over on the side there wheezing, back in human form, naked. And they do have a lot of kryptonite. I agree with you, Sven. Somehow or another, they have a shitload of kryptonite. Obviously, enough to make bullets and nets and all kinds of stuff. Unless it's manufactured kryptonite. Maybe they use a little nicotine as that other ingredient. So Rachel's friend brings her to this place where there's 3 other girls that supposedly need some help. That's all we get out of it. That's where her story ends on that one. We don't see anything else on that. Jailhouse Dick, in the meantime, is in his cell, and Luis, basically they're all laying there in their cell, in their beds and everything, and it's middle of the day, you can tell, and Luis gets a little antsy and wants to get up and leave. He goes, we've been here all morning. And Santo tells him to lay down, just take a nap. And as Luis goes towards the front, the door of the cell, that's when one of the Corto Maltese, the leader, goes walking by and he goes, that's the reason why you want to go lay down. So, yeah. And Dick tells them they're not going to make it, that it's suicide. And that's when Luis decides to tell him about the village folklore figure named Al Azul, who will fly down and save you when you need it most. And he's got this carving, which looks suspiciously kind of like the Nightwing logo, So this is where Nightwing comes about from Al Azul. And basically he'll fly down when you need it most. And Dick pretty much laughs at the legend. Basically goes, you're kind of stupid, kid. You're gonna die, essentially. And leaves it at that. So Connor is over in Cadmus. He's now in stasis. Gar has a collar on him that stops him from transforming, and Mercy comes in and talks to Gar. She asks him if he needs anything, if he wants any, food and whatnot. And he goes, I want to go home. I want to go to the tower. And she goes, no, maybe we should talk. And she goes, I'm going to offer you what Niles Calder never did. And she goes, yeah, Cadmus and Niles cross paths quite frequently. She says, he basically saved your life in order to further his own purposes and his own needs, not yours. And she goes, if you work with us, with Cadmus, we will actually focus on you and help you out with your powers. Wouldn't that be great, kind of thing? And she goes, what do you we just want to help you with what you want. And Gar tells her he wants to be a Titan. She's like, all right. So Donna comes across the body of the guy who's Rachel's demon had eaten, and I guess he's missing like part of his leg. He looks all pretty much torn up. And of course, she calls Dick again and leaves another message saying she really needs Dick at this point. So Donna is begging for Dick at this point. Yeah. So Dick is in the yard. Jailhouse Dick is in the yard with the guys, and he's kind of waving them off on stuff like that. And they're planning to make their move when one of the Corto Maltese leader there grabs Santo and basically shanks him in the neck. And I mean, there's blood spurting out and the alarms go off. Guards get out there, but there's nothing they can do. Santo's dead pretty much at this point. So they are all on lockdown in their cell because the boys, Luis and Rafi, are going to be transferred out anyway that night. So they're on lockdown until then. And they're still going to try and break out, of course. And Dick is trying to talk them out of this at this point. He goes, you had a chance with Santo. Now without him, you have less of a chance at this point. So at 6 a.m., the guards come in, grab Luis and Rafi. They put them in handcuffs, bring them outside, put them in this little holding cage area, and they pick their locks, their handcuff locks, and get them open. And as the guards are taking them over to the truck, they try and take out the guards. There's more guards than them, and the guards just start beating the shit out of them until Dick comes in. Jailhouse Dick comes in and starts beating the shit out of the guards. He beats them down and helps Luis and Rafi get the keys to the truck, and they take off. And somehow or another, Dick also has some throwing stars so he can knock out the gate to keep it from crashing down to stop the car from leaving. And then the guards start pouring into where Dick is at and beat the shit out of Dick like he owes them money. Yeah. And we end up with Donna. She enters the empty tower and sees the carnage of the soldiers, what they had left behind from Cadmus, and sees the bloody handprint and the bloody paw prints, I should say, on in the kitchen. Yeah, I don't know where he got those throwing. So yeah, he must have put it in the prison wallet pen. That's what I'm thinking. Your guess is as good as mine where he got those stars from. So obviously it was in the budget, but yeah, who knows where. Because he said he wasn't going to help anybody. So that means he actually planned it at some point and had the throwing stars on him at some point in time. Yeah, you have to walk carefully when you got those throwing stars in the prison wallet there. Yeah, never mind. So Mercy ends up telling Walter, she comes out and says there's been some changes with Subject 13 and Project Rakshana. And Walter goes, I don't answer to you. And she goes, that's one of the changes. You now do answer to me. And she goes, Gar says he wants to be with the Titans. I think that's an excellent idea. And that's where we leave off on the episode. Oh my God. So yeah, the Dick jokes are back big time at this point. Obviously with Jailhouse Dick. And Gar being a Titan in the streets, but a tiger in the sheets, I guess, is what's going on there. And Connor not knowing what the fuck is going on, pretty much. Yeah, Joe, I'm with you on this one. It felt very CW-esque. I've seen this episode before. I've actually seen this plot line before. This is Oliver going to prison. That's what this one is, where he voluntarily goes to prison and all that stuff. And yeah, this is a couple seasons ago on Arrow. I wasn't impressed with it then. I'm like parts of a leftover. Yeah, it was like parts of a leftover episode, EJAR. I agree with you. It even Rachel's thing, which is kind of like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I mean, she's just kind of like eating food and meeting these people, and it just kind of drops off. Her storyline, just really kind of drops off a cliff and goes nowhere. Donna seems to be behind everybody at this point because all she's doing is just following Rachel. And Hank and Dawn, we don't know what's happened to them. They're gone. Well, they've split up at this point, so they're out there. You would have thought maybe they would have thrown in a 5-second thing about them, wandering the streets with some sad music behind them or something. separated. But no, they didn't do that. Yeah, this is episode 10. We've got 3 more episodes left, right? 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So that's all we've got. And Dick's in prison. He is now Jailhouse Dick. And yeah. Speaking of Arrow, that's the only one I'm watching right now. I catch the others during Turkey weekend. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not missing anything with the other ones, Joe. I actually fell asleep during Flash last night. I had Flash on and I just passed out during it. And I really didn't miss anything. I didn't feel like I missed anything. So I would still watch a Superboy spinoff as well, Penn. That is actually the only interesting thing that we've got going on so far is Superboy and Crypto. Those are the only 2 characters that I actually care about at the moment. I don't care about Corey, about what's going on with her and her plot line. Jailhouse Dick, I'm just tired of the fucking rehashes of CW plot lines that sucked, because this is a Greg Berlanti production, so of course they are using this. And yeah, I'm surprised as well that DC sent out an email calling him Jailhouse Dick. I'm pretty sure they're thinking about an in-action figure for him, I should say. And yes, Crypto is a good dog. He's a good boy because he can ring a doorbell with his nose. That doorbell, though, Jesus Christ, man, I swear. I mean, fucking Deathstroke shows up and nothing. I mean, like 0 alarms go off. Everybody else, friends come to the door, intruder alert, intruder alert. DEFCON 5, armed torpedoes, all that kind of stuff. Deathstroke just walks in and goes, "Hey guys, what's going on? You got a beer for me?" And nothing. I don't know about this show. I kind of have a feeling, since they haven't pumped any more money into this at this point, that DC Universe is done. That they're moving everything over to HBO Max. We know that, excuse me, season 2 of Doom Patrol is moving over to HBO Max and also DC Universe, but I'm pretty sure that that DC Universe is done. And I think Stargirl's moving over there as well. We'll find out more on probably November 29th. Well, I should take that back. We're not going to find anything out until April of next year. Yeah. The prison, that's Jailhouse Dick. Jailhouse Dick in action figure, Joe Greer. It takes a pounding. Yeah. HBO Max does not sound promising to me, but I don't know. I'm going to be getting it for free. I already know that. So, yeah. That's about the only way I watch it, is getting it for free. Well, I'm not getting it for free, I guess you could say. It's part of my cable package that I have HBO. So supposedly HBO subscribers get HBO Max for free. We'll find out when you tell us during SBO. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have any news on that at the moment. So nothing to be sorry about, Joe. I read somehow on HBO Now subscribers and HBO. Okay. Oh, you wanted to plug it, SBO. Thank you. Yes. Tomorrow is Saturday Morning Blast Off. That's SBO for you kids out there. That's where I take the genre news of the week and talk about any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. Sunday is the big day. That is Mr. Robot. It's back to back, Mr. Robot and Watchmen. We'll see how Watchmen goes this time around. Monday is His Dark Materials. And this coming Tuesday, is the premiere of The Mandalorian. That's the Disney Plus, The Mandalorian that's coming out. Wednesday I'm off. Thursday I'm off. And then Friday we roll back around again for Titans. Yes. And Dennis, HBO Max for free. No, I'm not a wire cutter. It's I'm not a cord cutter either. I actually went back to cable, believe it or not, because it was cheaper. They ended up having just a bitchin' deal. They're my, internet subscribers as well, so that's the reason why I got a good deal. And they set it for 3 years, so I was like, all right, sure. Hey, how's it going, Morks? Yeah, you came at the end. I agree with you, Sven. Titans is very disappointing, and it is a very big, huge lost opportunity. But we have actually a decent Superboy out of it. Yeah, that kind of sucks, Penn, that they were forcing you to have cable. Yeah, The Mandalorian. Never heard of it. What is it? Okay, Ejar. Very funny. Very, very funny. Although they did release another trailer, I should say, yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? And because it comes out, on Tuesday. Actually, they released it on Tuesday. I take that back. And there's a flash, and you miss it, but they have a female Mandalorian because they had the female Mandalorian armor, which looks kind of Spartan-esque in the helmet, which was badass because that was one of the things I loved about Rebels is they fleshed out the Mandalorians a bit, and I'm okay with that. No, the Mandalorian is not a guitar with 8 strings. It is a character from the Star Wars universe. Kerry Russell is playing one in Rise, Rise of Skywalker. Is that what it is? Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to see it, but I'm not going to hold out any hope for that thing. It's, yeah, it is what it is at this point. So, if you like what you see here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and subscribe. It's all down here. If you also want to see when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below there. If you already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. Also, if you're on the fence about joining up, you're going to see at the very end of this episode here, there's going to be a video that pops up here. The video actually is taken from all the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and plucks one video out of my library that best matches all that stuff and pops it up there. Up here is going to be, is it worth my time? The history of time travel. That's what's going to be up there. Do you think the female Mandalorian could be an adult Sabine? No. No, they're not going to touch that. They're going to leave that for something else at this point. The ship from Rebels, the Ghost. Yeah, the Ghost was in Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Well, we know the Ghost actually makes it past Return of the Jedi. So we know the Ghost is out there. One or 10 powers activate form of a spoon. Yeah. You're not talking about Gina Carraro? No, I'm not. Yeah, I like. Actually, she is not the other Mandalorian. She is. I don't know who she is, honestly. I've tried to keep as much spoilery stuff out of my head as possible around my sight, I should say. And yes, she was in Deadpool 1. And also Werner Herzog is the villain in the first season, I believe, of The Mandalorian. And Nick Nolte is also plays an Ugnaught. He voices it and he does the facial expressions, but there's a woman of diminutive stature, shall we say, with a Ugnaught mask on that actually mimics all the facial expressions that she does, or he does, I should say. I'm getting close to 500. Yes, it is 470 people so far. We'll see where it's at after this. But yes, we have 470 subscribers. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed, by the way. So I hate to cut and run, but I got a little dog that's looking at me at the moment, and I'm going to have to let you guys go. Thank you, everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And I will see you tomorrow for Saturday morning blast off. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. And until next time, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find out that your production is running out of money and you can't do simple things like super speed anymore, or making someone just jump away from the cops instead of having to run across a plaza. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.